Well, hello and welcome to Perfectly Twisted. I'm Nicole Eggert. That over there is Dave Palais.
I don't know if you're pointing the right direction. I think you're going the wrong way. No, I'm
Does it look
well on
wrong
my
to you?
screen. It's the other way.
It looks right to me.
Does that look like I'm pointing at you?
Yeah.
I am. Okay. Well, there it looks like it's going the other way, but whatever. There's
We're
only two
mirrored.
people here. Everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, the other person. That other person with the deeper voice and the beard.
And the beard.
Oh, so welcome everybody. Please give us a like, give us a follow, give us a download, leave us a comment, all that good stuff while you're thinking about it. And so that's Super Bowl. I bet did you just have such what? I mean, I just sat there. I didn't know if I should leave or if I should keep watching. It was, and then I wanted to see the halftime show so badly, which I loved so much. It was worth every second. Tell me your thoughts, because I don't know that much.
You aren't a huge sports fan, but you're good. You're pretty good. You know, you're aware of what's happening. You're aware of what's happening with the Lakers and the Dodgers, and you do a good job. I got to tell you, I dislike the Kansas City Chiefs, so I was extremely happy to see Philadelphia win. You know, my college roommate, a long time ago at San Diego State, big Eagles fan, and he sent me a picture with him and his dad and his son. To see three generations wearing their Eagles gear, I loved it, you know. And so, I mean, if you're lucky enough to still have parents that are alive and they sit there and have that bond of that team, I thought that was fun to watch. But you know, my son Josh is good friends with the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, and to know Jalen since he was 17 and he wins Most Valuable Player, and it was extremely exciting. Now, I want to ask you about the halftime show, because basically you always get 50% of the people that like it, hate it, and for me, I enjoyed it. You know, I think my son was even surprised that I enjoyed it. People have to understand that they aren't marketing to, hate to say it, Nicole, they aren't really marketing to you and me and people older than us. You know, you aren't going to see, the Rolling Stones on there. You aren't going to see Bruce Springsteen anymore. You're going to see instruments on stage. You're going to see people that are marketing to the next generation of hopefully NFL fans that will tune in. But Kendrick Lamar is crazy smart. Like I did a whole background on him on Saturday. I didn't realize he had a Pulitzer. That is amazing to think.
Oh, I didn't either. Oh,
yeah. Here's a guy that's, 37, 38 years old from Compton that has won a Pulitzer for his poetry. And he is extremely bright. And then all the messages that went into the halftime show, whether it was going after Drake, whether it was going after Donald Trump, it took a lot of time to put things together to put on that show. And Samuel L. Jackson, I thought was great having him there. I enjoyed it. I'm just like you. I really loved it.
I really loved it. And I think a lot of people didn't know all the messages that were being sent during that. So part of me thinks that people who didn't like it didn't understand it, and they're not up to in the know of all of the messages that were in there. Like the exes coming out, both girls are Drake's exes. I mean, that's just such a, Serena Williams.
Yeah.
And they didn't make a big deal about it. It was so slight. It was so amazing. And then, you have people who just aren't hip hop fans. So,
Yeah.
You have to give it some grace to them too, because, okay, if you didn't like it because you're not a fan, that's fine too. I was waiting for Bad Blood to start, because he and Taylor Swift did that song. And I thought, oh my God, at any moment, this could, like, if I hear Bad Blood start and she comes out, I will fall on the floor. And I'm not a Swiftie, but I would fall on the floor. And that didn't happen. And probably rightfully so, after seeing the whole performance and all of it. But I just love him. I think he's so talented, and it makes him so attractive. And yeah, fabulous. Such a good message in the climate that we're in right now. Like,
I think you can appreciate the art, even if it's not your style of music. I think you can always appreciate the art. Like, I've never been in an Adele concert, but man, her voice is the best I've ever heard. And you can appreciate the art as far as what people can do that you can't do, or that you wish you could do. Again, just an amazing talent. Just an amazing talent.
Such a good talent. Such a cutie. So strong, so smart. Yeah, I love that he has a Pulitzer. Okay, well, I want to get to our guest, because I completely fangirling out. As you all know, I am a huge fan of 90 Days on TLC. That is my jam. I love it. I tend to watch it more than Housewives now. I am all about it. And we have a breakout star from that show who I just love her so much, and I love her story, and anybody that's watched it also loves her. So I want to introduce Miss Kimberly Menzies.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
You're so cute.
Listen, I love that show. I love that show so much. I'm not sure what it is, but I Dave and I were talking about it the other day, and he said like he asked like how would they just go do that? Like for anybody who doesn't know, Kimberly went all the way to Africa in on the strings of hope that something could work out with this guy. And not only did she do it, but she did it on camera. And I think that's so ballsy and so amazing. But I said to Dave, I said, why not? Like, why wouldn't you? So, what did you already meet him before the show? Did you already, this was already, okay. Walk me through that because I'm so curious.
So during thank you so much, by the way, but during COVID, I was looking for shows to watch. I used to be a restaurant manager. I'd work 10 to 12 hours a day, right? So I was at home, I was bored, and my late sister actually said, have you ever seen the show 90 Day Fiancé? She said, you should watch it. So I started watching it, and it was Usman's season with his ex-wife, who I do not mention. So it was, sorry, little shade. But so I started watching it. So then I went on Twitter, which is now X. I went on there and I started making memes, and just like I got so involved because it's the crazy. There's some of the stories were so outlandish. I'm like, this can't be real, right? Excuse me. So I started making these these little memes and stuff, and I made one of Usman, and he liked it. And then a couple days later, he messaged me and he on Twitter and was like, I really like your memes and stuff, right? So we started talking very, very sporadic. It was not anything, I always thought he was charming, but I didn't really think of him as like my fiance, right? So we started talking, and then one day, I had woke up, I was my mom's caregiver, and I had woke up, I had no makeup on. I mean, nothing, hair in a big was out to here. And he was like, do you have WhatsApp? And I said, no, but I'll download it. And he video chatted me, and I declined the call. And if we know Usman, okay, if we know Usman, he was like, did you really just decline my call? I went in, I put makeup on, straightened my hair, and I called him back up. And the first call we had, we talked for 4 hours, just talking. And I didn't look at, like, I started like digging into his music and all of that. But I was just like, I never thought that this would be, this would be my fiance, or this would be my future husband, God forbid. But, sorry. So, so then it was about almost a year later, like 6-7 months later, we had been talking every day, video chatting, whatever. And we were getting really, really closer. And then I was driving to work one day, and he texted me, he said, TLC is going to call you today. And I was like, what? And I pulled over on the highway. I was like, what are you talking about? Because I had said I didn't want to do the show because I wanted to, I was very private. Nobody knew who I was. Even when the promo came out, nobody knew who I was, but I was taking care of my mom. I was living my life, living my best 50-year-old life. And then I talked to Jamal about it, and Jamal was so funny because Jamal was like, nobody watches it anyway. Who would have thought, right? And my mom, I made sure that, that she, that everybody in my family kind of supported this decision, because it doesn't just air out my shit, it airs out theirs too, So yeah, they were all for it. And so then hence I got on the show. I had one casting interview. That was it. And they were like, we fucking love you, your personality. So I went to Zanzibar, and it's crazy now when I look back, right? Because we've been broken up for 2 years, but I look back and I'm just like, it's so crazy. Like I remember when I first went to Zanzibar and the cameras were like right here, right? And I always tell people, don't watch my first season, watch my second season, because you see more of my personality. But the crew and everybody, they're so good to you. You know what I mean? Like they become your family. Like I still talk to my producer from Zanzibar. He was my producer for Happily Ever After too. And we still talk. He was like my Dr. Phil.
Oh, I love
and
that.
So fun. It's so crazy if you would have told me that like this would be my life now. And I have a pretty good life, and I've grown my fan base to be, I call them my lovelies. So I've grown it to be what it is today, you know? And I think people just saw my heart. Like I didn't care about the TV. I didn't care about the so-called fame. I didn't care about that. I just loved him. And that to be honest, I just fell in love with the wrong man. That's exactly what happened, you know?
As we can all relate to. We can all relate to that. But it shows. I mean, it shows that you were just a genuine human going through it in front of
Mhm.
the camera. There's, other people, I won't mention names on the show where that they're in it and they're trying to make it work just to be on a show. And you
Yeah.
just weren't that. And that's why you've continued to, you know, do all the spinoffs and all the other shows because everybody wants to see it because it's so real.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to the network too because like I'm single, you know what I mean? And I'm so grateful that they've kept me on. Like they've kept me on for, for the show aired. It was like 2.5, almost 3 years. They've kept me on this whole time with Pillow Talk and doing diaries. And, when Jamal was on Single Life, they put me on there. Like they didn't forget about me, and they could have cast me aside because I am single. Like the show's about relationships, So I'm very grateful.
yeah, but you're good for the show too, so that's why they're not forgetting about you because we want to see you. Now
Yeah.
talk about that because Jamal, yeah, so she has a son that then went on the show as well and
Mhm.
started dating a girl, a woman who is also on the show. So it's like we knew the personalities from different ways, and then they got together as like a couple on the show.
Yeah.
Is that hard to watch him
Well, they
date? I mean,
let me pillow talk it, which I thought was epic because, like, I always tell people, nobody. Jamal's my biggest accomplishment in this lifetime, right? And to watch him, like watching him kiss her and stuff, even though he's 28, I'm like, but but
yeah.
like to see his interactions, like in a relationship, because I really don't, we're close, but like he talks to me and everything, but like to see it on camera. But when I said it in a different interview, when his hands started doing this, when he was attacking Tim, I was like, that's me. That's just me. But it was cool. And I like Veronica. Like I've always, we were really cool and everything. We still are, but I just felt like it wasn't the right relationship for him at that time. Like he just moved. I had been, I had lost my mom and then I lost my sister 1 year and 1 day after my mom. So Jamal
Oh,
left to New York, yeah, to come here to be with me. I was a mess because I lost my dad 2 years, three. I lost my dad, my mom, my sister, 3 years
I'm
every year.
sorry. Oh,
It's been really tough, and I have I have no more childhood family left. You know what I mean? So Jamal moved here, and then I thought it was just kind of weird. She wanted him to move to North Carolina because I'm like, he just moved here, but there was a lot of things we couldn't say either. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but it's cool to see him with his followers, like his fan base and stuff. And they messaged me and they're like, "Is Jamal single?" I'm like, "That's weird."
I am not going to be the matchmaker.
Not pimping.
Message him. Yeah, I have a daughter that's 27, so I get it. She's in a relationship. She's in a healthy, good relationship, and they've been
Right.
together for a long time. But yeah, I don't want to see them kiss. When they cuddle and stuff like that's fine. They don't kiss in front of me, thank God. I don't know what that would.
No.
Uh,
No,
no.
it was weird, but it was fun to pillow talk it because it's like the mom point of view. You know what I mean? So I was sitting there, but some of the things like when he would get mad, I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, if that is not my child, I don't know who is.
Yeah, you see yourself in him. I love Pillow Talk. I mean, it's actually my favorite. Sometimes I'll watch Pillow Talk before I watch the actual episode, but I try not to. But the thing is I spend too much time in front of the TV because I'll watch the episode and then I need to see what Pillow Talk has to say.
Yeah,
Afterwards, I'm like, were they thinking the same thing as I was? And I need to
I
know.
I love doing it. We do it right in my house, like right over here. We do it right here. And I love it because it's like that's my time with Jamal. That's my bonding time with Jamal. And we have such a good time when we do it. So we have so much fun. And I love it because like we do give a different point of view on things because at the end of the day, I'm mom, right? And he's my son and he'll say something or then when they show the sex scenes and we do the pillow wall, like, ew.
Yes. Yes. Do you think it helps that you guys were already in front of the cameras before Pillow Talk? Because I feel like with Pillow Talk, it could get awkward because you're sitting watching a show, you've got cameras on you, and you're supposed to give an opinion of what you're watching, right? So, like, I'm not a super vocal person when I'm watching something. I watch it and then I digest it all, and it takes me a minute.
Yeah,
So I would be
yeah.
terrible on a show like that. Like,
No,
I
I
wouldn't
love
really be good on it.
I love Pillow Talk because it's no drama. It's not my drama. It's not Jamal's drama. It's somebody else's. We just get to sit back, wear cute clothes, eat some snacks.
Yeah,
No?
except Kim, that when you guys maybe talk about it, and I'm not saying you and Jamal in particular, but when people have reactions when they're on Pillow Talk and then they meet those cast members, sometimes and some shade has been thrown. Sometimes I've seen some issues where people are like, well, you were nasty to me on Pillow Talk, and you're like, uh-oh. Because so
Rob.
then I would feel like I would like edit myself before I spoke, because I would be thinking about, what if I see this person in real life, you know?
There's no holds barred. Like Rob, when I first met Rob for the first time, he was like, oh, because, you know, we made fun of the duvet and we were calling him Rob the Knob and making fun of his dance moves. Yeah. So I was like, Dad, my bad.
Sorry. I mean, calling it as I see it.
I know there are some that I'm scared to meet now because of them. And some of them are the ones that are really hard to do is the ones that are toxic, right? Like, I don't want to name names, but the ones that it's really hard. There's a couple times I had to get up and like walk out of the room and just compose myself, because there was either a death in their family or they're just toxic people. You know what I mean? And it's hard to watch. Some of them is very hard to watch, and we always have to take a beat and then just like, you know, move on. But sometimes it's hard, you know?
Yeah, I would imagine, because you have more information about them than we do.
Mm-hmm.
What about, are you watching Last Resort?
I am. Of course I am on it. Of course. You know, yeah. Josh is my 90-day crush. Everybody knows this about me.
Okay. You have bad taste. he's toxic, Kim. He's toxic.
No, I know him pretty well. Like, we're friends, you know. So, but it's hard to, I don't know. And it's hard because I'm such a mama bear, so I'm always like defending situations, you know, and everything. But sometimes, like, you guys did this on your own. Like, nobody. And I'm thinking, like, where were all these people when my season was going on? Right? Like, right. Nobody defended me, you know? Nobody defended me.
Yeah, him and Natalie, I mean, she's a live wire. She's out of her mind. I don't even know if her wires are connected. Like, she is tuned to a different station all the time. Like, I don't know what planet that woman is on ever, but I love watching her. I love, like, I do love watching her.
She's so dramatic that, like, you know, when you come on, you know, you're getting a show, you know what I mean? Because she is so dramatic and she's so over the top, you know. Same with Jasmine is the same way. She's so over the top. I think that I like the concept that they did with between the sheets. I mean, I like the concept of talking about their own things, but it took my Pillow Talks away. So I'm like, damn it. Can we get another season?
You know, yeah, I agree with you. I like Pillow Talks better, but and also with Between the Sheets, what freaks me out sometimes is certain and it's a lot of the girls, some guys too, their face light up when they see themselves on TV.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, you know, when my season was on, I would get up when it would hit Discovery. It would hit Discovery at 4:15 in the morning. And I had to work, you know, I work full time now too. So I would get up at 4:15, make a cup of coffee, watch my episode in peace, right? Just so I would know what's coming.
Right. Isn't that cool? Did it ever like mess with your day though? Did you ever see anything and you were like, oh, damn it. And then you kind of ruined your mood for the day. Like, I wish I didn't watch that.
I wish, I think the one where Usman called me ugly, basically, that one really messed with me. And then where I threw stuff, when I would throw the drinks, because I'm like, I'm better than that. Like, I don't do that now, you know, so I'm better because you learn and grow, right? But like when you're mad at the moment, you just don't care. Like, that's just my Italian temper coming out. You just don't care when you're in the moment, you know, but I've learned and grown. But yeah, sometimes, and then the comments sometimes from the trolls and stuff where they were brutal, especially my first season. They were really brutal. And then I don't know. I don't know. Jamal told me that when we were he came back from New York, and this when my mom was still living. And when the show first came out, and I was going through my comments on Instagram, and it was just like, you're a troll, you're ugly, you're desperate, you're fat, your teeth, your hair, blah, blah, blah. And then Jamal was like, my God, like, how do you do this? And then one thing about him, and I didn't know this till like last year, I went on something, I was looking for something on the 90-Day Fiancé site on Instagram. And it was from me and Usman, like back for Happily Ever After. And I was looking because somebody said, yeah, Jamal was defending you in the comments. And I was like, my God, like he would go on there and, you know, people would trash me. And I was like, you do know this is my mother, right? Like at the end of the day, this is my mom, you know? So, you know, you don't think about the repercussions it really has on your family too, you know?
Oh, it really does. I
Oh,
know. When like remember there was like Friendster and MySpace, and then Facebook came out, and I remember my oldest daughter, getting on there one time and defending me, and I was like, I love you and I appreciate that. You cannot get involved. You can't. Don't read it. Just ignore it. Don't even go in there and read any of the things.
yeah.
Um, to
Can't.
protect their heart, you know, like I love that Jamal went in there and stood up for you, but it's like at the same time because that hurts him. It's hurting his little heart, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's you're
You know,
his mama.
all of us have a past. All of us have shit that we've done in our past that we're not proud of. And you know, things came out about me and I was just like, fuck, right? And then I just stayed off the internet. That's why I tell people, just stay off the internet for a day. It's going to blow over. It's going to go away. It's going to, you know, because they're going to find something else nobody's going to like you 100% all the time. And I think what kept me strong during that is that I was going through so much other stuff anyway. And then I just felt like I know who I am, and I know, like, I lost my worth for a long time. But now I got it back. I'm good now. I'm
Good,
good now. But
good.
I feel like that's what kept me going, was just like, I know my circle of people around me. I know who loves me and who doesn't, and that's it, you know. So, but it was rough. There was a petition to get me off the show for my first season and
What?
everything. Like, yeah, because of, you know, everybody said I supposedly tried to, you know, have sex with Usman. So no, I'm just joking.
Oh
Yeah,
God, people read too much into
yeah.
that.
So
Oh,
people, I was getting all these messages from like domestic abuse survivors and all of that. And then there was a petition, and I just had to write it out. And I apologized. I'm very open with my fans, and I went on my Instagram and I was like, listen, this is not what it was, blah blah blah, you know, whatever that. And so I, you know, you just have to take accountability of things sometimes too, you know. That helps a lot.
absolutely. And you're walking through this in real time. Like give somebody a break.
Yeah.
We have this discussion a lot too, because with reality TV comes the trolls. And the thing about that is if everybody loved you and everybody was like just praising you, you wouldn't be doing your job properly, right? Like you'd be boring, you'd be kicked off the show, let's be honest. So it's almost like you have to invite the haters because they're watching and they took the
Yeah.
time to go to your page or go to your clip or whatever it is, and they took the time to sit there and type out, and you know they're not their best selves online. People just say stupid shit to write stupid shit all the time. I'll tell you something that happened to me just recently. I wrote something and a guy said, oh, typical, like washed up has been you know, X show movie star, whatever, right? And I said, oh, you know, typical small dick energy. And
See?
ironically enough, I went into my messages. He had messaged me and asked me out. He had asked me out on a date prior, and I didn't see it because if I'm not friends with you, they don't come to my inbox.
Yeah.
And this guy, this troll, and then he had to write that to get my attention, and then he started inboxing me again, and that's when I noticed, and I went back, and he had asked me on a date. So these trolls are not for real anyways. Like they do and say whatever they can just to get attention and just to get a rise out of people.
I think so too. And it's always the ones with like one follower, or they or zero followers, and the little, you know, like the little no picture and everything. But there's been some, I think I have to sneeze. I think it's coming. It's coming. Hold on. Oh, excuse me.
You.
Sorry. There's some though that have really, I've gotten racist comments. I've gotten the racist comments probably, but I've had people tell me to kill myself. And I mean, there's some of them have been really bad. And then the racist one, the worst one I got was this woman sent me one, and it was like a whole bunch of pigs and then like black microphone. I don't know. And I posted it and I was like, what makes this okay? Like, this is the year, it was 2023. And I was like, what makes this okay? And then I took it down because I was like, why am I giving her my energy like that? Like, this is how she thinks. But she ended up getting fired from her job because I
Oh,
posted
good.
it. So I tagged her in it and I was like, is this what you wanted? And then I've had ones that are like, oh, she wants to be African American. I've never said that. I've never done that. So it was a guy, so he was tagging like Hughley and all these different podcasters and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to give you your 15 minutes. So just go ahead. And I did it in my comments and I timed it and he just was going off on me and everything. And then at the 15 minutes, I was like, are you done? I just blocked him.
Is he a white guy?
Yeah.
Are they saying things because they're like they're prejudiced because Usman's a man of color?
I think so, because my
good
son
God.
too, and because of my son too. So it was pretty, that part. I just don't understand that in this day and time. Like, I don't understand the racism. I've never understood that. My mom, thank God, God bless her soul, she didn't raise us to be, my brother was homosexual. I've always dated outside my race. My mom didn't raise us. She raised us to love everybody. And I think that's how we should be raised, right?
Yes. Listen, I dated a guy of color when I was younger. And back then, not that it made it okay, but back then people were much more open and like accepting with the names I got called all the time from other white men. Oh my God. Yeah, that was, and it really opened my eyes at a young age as to what people go through, that treatment from white people. And so it's always made me very sensitive to that and just horrified. So grossed out.
Too. Especially like with Jamal being mixed race and stuff, it's hard now. Like I'm open, by the way, I'm open to dating, but I want to be careful because, some people don't like the fact that my son is mixed race, even though he's 28 years old, people don't like that. So I'm very choosy about like who I bring into my world, because you have to understand that the show was a part of my life and my son is a part of my life,
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you say that about your son, that's a whole different thing, right? You can call us whatever you want. When you mess with the kids, and all three of us can relate on that, you don't mess with the kids. Like, oh my Lord, I don't know. I would blow a gasket. No way.
I will take these nails off and I will fight.
Yeah, the earrings are coming off. Let's go. Ooh. Yep, hoops out, fists up. Oh my God. So you are open to dating. Did you feel like you needed to take a break for a minute and like reassess, or have you been continually dating, or how has that been for you?
No, I felt like I don't want to speak ill of my ex, but I just felt like I really needed a beat to just like digest everything that happened, come to terms with everything that happened, because I was in this for the right reasons. So I felt like things came out after, we broke up, and then we were still talking. We were still friends. We don't talk at all now. Absolutely at all. And I feel like I just needed that moment because I felt like I was so in love that I lost all my worthiness. You know what I mean? So I had to build it back up. And then, like I told you, my mom passed and then my sister passed. It's just, and then breaking up with him on TV. It was just so much shit, so much stuff, so much baggage. So I go to therapy now. I'm for trauma and stuff. And then just to deal with my everyday life, because it's hard. It's hard sometimes because I've lost a lot of friends because of the show and stuff, because you never know what people's true intentions are anymore. They're either your friend because they've known me, or they just want to be on TV, or you know what I'm saying? So so now I was talking to somebody and then talking to somebody else, but it's just finding that compatibility now. The DMs are open, guys. DMs are open, but it's I don't think, and as much never speak ill of Usman. I just feel like I'm too grown for that. I feel like what's the point? And I wish him all the happiness in the world. I truly do. I wish him much success, because that's all I ever wanted for him was that, but I've moved on. Like that love part, like it's just out the window. It's gone. I would never go back. I would never go back, but I wish him all the love and success, honestly. And he knows that too. He knows that too, but I can't settle, and I have boundaries. I write in a journal every day, and I have boundaries now, and there's just certain things I'm just not going to accept from anybody. So if that meant me being single the rest of my life, then so be it, because you have to, once you get to our age, like I'm so fiercely independent now that I have to find something that fits in my life, not how coexist. We have to coexist. So.
100%. Yeah, I know. I'm like that too. I'm so fiercely independent, and yeah, somebody just has to melt right into your world. And if it's too hard and the puzzle's not fitting, like it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's so not worth it.
Yeah. Cause I don't really care about getting married. I don't really care about that. I would
Yeah.
like to just let's just be friends with benefits. Let's just hang out. And then
Yeah, like let's enrich each other's life and like have a good time. And if it's not a good time, I'm
yeah.
out.
Okay. I have to go to bed. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Well, let me ask you something. Do you go okay, so I don't know if you're on any dating apps or anything like that, but so like I tried for a second. I like posted a thing, but then there's so many people that recognize you.
I am
And
on
then
one. Just
you are,
joined,
and
and
do people tell me about it? Because like I feel like they're gonna recognize you, and then you're like, well, fuck. That
I
ruined
think
everything.
it's funny. I just joined last week. And I did a live and told people because people are gonna find it and then just be like, bleh. So I'm honest, and I was forthright, and I was like, I'm gonna do one. So I did a poll, and I was like, pick the one for me. So they picked it, and I'm on there, and I'm paying for the subscription because there's some weird people. I had one person. And I'm using my real pictures. I did not link my social media because I'm just not going to do that right now. But one guy was on there and he was talking to me and he was like, wait a minute. We were texting on the app. He's like, are you Kim from 90 Day? I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Right. But at least he started talking to you before he realized that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, he's like, so weird because I'm sitting here texting you and you just popped up on my TV. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see what happens. I got a couple little guys in my inbox, but I just believe in authenticity, and I feel like I need to meet you authentically. You know what I mean? Whether it be, I'm a spa supervisor at a casino. So whether it might be there, it might be at the grocery store, it might be when I'm pumping gas, but I feel like or like a blind date or something. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
want to go line dancing. I want to go, maybe speed dating. I mean, there's so many things to do in San Diego. And it's my fault too, because I've been in my I'm very introverted. And I know that sounds weird, but because I'm on all the time. So I'm very introverted when I'm home. My home is my safe space. So I feel like I'm so introverted sometimes that it's a curse too, because like once I'm home, I'm not going back. You know what I mean? So, and I work 5 days a week. So I feel like now I finally found that balance where I can be like, okay, so I need to get out and go, because some of it's just my own laziness. You know what I mean? Like I know I could go out, and then Jamal invites me to things. I get invited to things, and I'm just like,
You have to go. You've got to go. I've got a 13-year-old at home. So and I don't know, maybe I'm using that as an excuse, but that keeps me home a lot too. Cause I'm like, it's a school night. I can't go do anything. It's a school night. But I'm like you, I feel like I'm going to authentically meet somebody that's doing something that I'm doing, right? Like if that's at the market, but I don't think you should meet somebody at the casino. When you said that at work, I don't know. I dated a gambler once. I also dated a guy that ran casinos. They both, yeah, that was,
but it's a resort too. So not everybody's there to gamble.
Oh, okay.
My spa the other day I came out of my office and I saw him and my heart just dropped. He had got a massage and my heart just dropped. Like he was so good looking, probably around my age, really good looking, tall. And but then his wife came out. I was like, damn it. Damn it, where's it going to have one of those?
Yeah. Yeah. What's up with that?
Yeah. So
I know.
I'll date young again. I will never date that young. I feel like it's a mindset more than it is like an age thing, and I can't say I'll never date somebody from another country. I would never date somebody in Nigeria again, just because I've been to Nigeria like 6 times. You guys only saw 2 for filming, but I went over there 4 more times because you have to solidify things, and get to know them. And I get enough DMs from Nigeria, but I really feel like I just can't, it would remind me of him too much, and it's a beautiful country. I love his family. I still talk to his brothers every once in a while. They'll text me or whatever, but it's just not, it would be too many reminders for me,
Yeah, I get that. Too close for comfort. Yeah.
Yeah. Close for comfort. Cause we have so many memories there. It was my second home for a while, so, but I feel like, I'm not opposed to Jamaica.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to, Ghana. I'm not, and it's not even that Germany. I mean, it could, the UK, it could be anywhere, you know, it could be, I'm not opposed because I like that excitement of that part too. And I think long distance is good for me because I am at home so much, you know, and I am at work so much. So it kind of works, but local, I don't know. I'm open to anything right now. I feel like I'm going to be 55. I feel like I'm finally in my own power. And I feel like I really need to just be Kim and just be out there, you know?
100%. I agree with that. Let's talk about the long distance thing for a second, because I always watch it and I say, this is just never going to work. This is not going to work. There's a couple where the guys from Ireland, the wrestler guys, their names are escaping me right now. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Sean and Joe.
Yeah. Okay. They got married. There's kids involved. She's in America. He's in Ireland. And they can't the kids are like, no way. We don't want to move to Ireland. It's just the distance can be such an obstacle, like such a horrible obstacle. And I hate talking politics or anything, but with the climate we're in and this president that we have now, it seems like that's only going to make things harder.
I think so too. But Joe and Sean, he's actually here now. He met him and his daughter, you know. But I feel like I would have never gotten into this relationship if Jamal was under the age of 18. There's no way. There's no way. There's just no way because kids are involved. Like, what am I going to do? Move Jamal to Nigeria? Come on, you know. So he didn't want to go in the first place. Imagine living there, but I feel like it is harder when you have children, and it is hard. These immigration laws are horrendous, and it's a lot harder than people think it is, you know, and it's expensive. It's very, very expensive. And then you pay all this money and you're still not sure if you're going to get accepted or not, you know? Yeah. So I'm so glad that I dodged that bullet. I'm so glad that I did, because I think it would have been really, really difficult. A lot of money spent. We actually had a K1 that was in process and I pulled it. So when we broke up, so I just feel like it's so hard on so many families. Like when you have kids like that, and then I can't imagine leaving your kids somewhere to come over here. I can't. And that's my own personal opinion. I don't knock anybody that does it, you know, to each their own or whatever. I'm not judging, but I couldn't have done it. If Jamal would have been under the age of 18, I'd have been like, bye, Usman.
Yeah. I agree. I do understand a little bit with the ones that come to America and then want to bring their kids at some point so that they have a better life. That part I kind of understand, but I'm with you. Like, I don't want to be away from my kids at all, like ever, no matter where we're at. I'm just.
No, I miss him now. He doesn't live too far from me. Jamal does, and I miss him when I don't see him. So, and then when he does these trips and stuff with Josh and Rob, I'm just like, oh, me a magnet, because I'm a mom. I'll text them and be like, y'all okay? But I don't know. I just couldn't do it. But I like the long distance. I like the long distance because it's like we would argue sometimes so bad and I just hang up, just turn my phone off. It's not like so much in your face. And then I'd call him a couple hours. They'd be like, you calm now, you know, and then you could discuss it. So I like that part of it. It's just all about the communication with things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Cause the other part of me likes that too, because also I like alone time. Like I say, if I ever do meet somebody, we're going to have separate bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff like that. If not separate houses, like I like to be neighbors with you. That could be fun. You know, I'm very much about that.
I have a big yard. They could put up a tiny house in my backyard.
You could do that, right? The ADU in the back. Yeah.
No. But we should go out one day. You and I
For
should
sure.
go out. We definitely should have so much fun, I think. What do you think, Dave? We'd have a good time, huh?
Yeah, Dave, good match. You guys are a good match. It'd be a blast, a lot of energy.
Yeah, because we have a lot of similarities, I think, too, when it comes to things, you know. So I'll be in LA. I do want to meet you though when I come.
Okay, I'm sending you my phone number and you have to text me. Yeah, because I'm here. And I would love that so much. And I don't really know that many. It's like, honestly, I don't really know that many people single my age. Everybody's married.
We don't like.
No. Yeah.
We don't.
No, they're no fun.
It's hard. I think once you get in your 50s, it's harder. It is harder to date. And then especially with being on TV, it's harder. It's harder to date because you just never know what somebody's trying. And these men, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm not talking
That's
about
all right.
You're amazing. But man, games, like these games. And I'm so, you know what I hate about dating is the thing like, what's your favorite color? What's your sign? You know, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh shit, I got to do this again.
Yeah, I know. Can I just send you a list?
Yeah. You know,
Write a bio.
I'm starting to play 20 questions. Let's just get it all out the way in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like that anybody that's like watched the show and like knows my personality, like I kind of want you to watch it because I want you to see what my, maybe not the first season, not the first season, but the second season, I felt like you really saw my personality a little bit. And then Pillow Talks too. And you know, you see my personality. And I feel like I should just start giving guys like links to all my stuff.
Yeah. Here, watch this. You want to know who I am? Watch this. Yeah. Well, and also at our age, if they're playing any kind of games, they're immediately like our radar is on now. And it's like any kind of weird games, you're so out. It's such a red flag because you're too old for this shit. I'm too old for it. You're too old for it. Like, knock it off.
And especially in the past relationships and stuff, you can just see the signs now. You know what I mean? Like, don't come to me saying, hey, gorgeous, hey, beautiful, because and make sure you spell correctly because I do watch that and I can tell where you're from just by how you spell.
That's right. Grammar is huge to me. I actually called somebody out one time for their bad grammar. I was like, there's just, it ends right there with your first sentence. Your lack of grammar is just blew everything up. No way.
I know. And then some people think like when I start dating that Jamal's just going to be there like this big wall in front of me, you know, he, you know, at the end of the day, he just wants me to be happy. He wants me to find somebody to grow old with. I mean, we've had this discussion and he doesn't want, you know, he doesn't want me to be lonely. You know what I mean? And he's like, we're really close and everything, but you know, he's got his own life. Like he's single, he's living his best life as he should be. And I don't want to be that crutch for him. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
And I don't want it. So it's not, I mean, you'll have to meet him at some point, but he doesn't, it's not like he's standing in front of me like a big bodyguard, you know, like WWE, like, you know, or whatever. But I do want whoever I date or whatever, they have to have a good relationship with my son because he's so much a part of my life too, you know, but it's not like a prerequisite.
Right. But at the same time, like anybody that fits into your life is going to get along with him.
Yeah.
And I think on Pillow Talk, it comes across that he's not standing in front of you like a bodyguard. No. You can tell he wants you to be happy and that he's rooting for you. You can, all of that comes through.
Absolutely. I tell you, I was so blessed to have this man in my life. I'm telling you, he's my biggest accomplishment. I've said it since day one. And he's got such a good personality and he's everything to like, I wouldn't have survived. Honest to God, and I don't want to get emotional. I would not have survived the last 3 years without Jamal. Honest to God, I wouldn't have, because he literally left his life in New York to be here with me. And everybody's like, oh, he's a mama's boy and a blah, blah, blah. But nobody understands what we've been through. You know what I mean? You don't understand until you're in it. So, you know, and he's really been there for me. Like when I had to pack up my mom's house, oh my God. And it's been rough, you know, it's been rough, but I feel like now, like I'm in the light now, not just this ring light. I'm in the light now. And I feel like I'm doing really well. I've lost some weight. I don't know if you could tell, I've lost some weight. I've lost like 13 pounds. I'm doing Wegovy.
Oh, good.
Only on the first dose. I'm staying on that for 2 months and then I'm getting off. So but I've lost weight. I'm starting to walk. I'm starting to like do things to make myself better. I stopped smoking cigarettes.
Love that. Cigarettes.
A week after my sister passed, I just stopped because I was like, this is not going to be my life, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like, I just really feel like I'm doing so well and I'm doing so good, but I'm so grateful to Jamal. Like nobody can understand how grateful I am to Jamal because he was more, you know, so he really just showed what a man he really is, you know? So for everybody saying he's a mama's boy, that's okay.
That is okay, because it shows what a good job you did. And I think only other single parents really understand how tight you can be with your kid when you're a single parent. Like there's just nothing, there's nothing like it. It's so different than a family dynamic. It really is different. So I get it.
Yeah. And I mean, we've had our bad times, you know, we weren't always, I think we're closer now than we were when he was like 15, 16. Cause I remember he went from like 5'7" to like 6 foot. And I'm like, who are you talking to like that? You know, we've had that always been, I'm not the perfect parent. I don't think anybody is, but I've had my, I've had my share of dark shadows in my life that I caused, and it affected him too. So, all you can do is grow from this. That's all you can do is grow. And now we're so close. Like, I talk to him about everything except sex. That's the only thing I don't talk to him about.
I feel you on that. Yes, listen, if we didn't have dark moments and then grow from them, we would be so boring and vanilla, and life would be just not
Yeah.
real, and there'd be
Gotta
no
have,
eggs and no humor.
you got to have a little seasoning in your life, right?
Yes, 100%. Oh, thank you so much for talking and sharing with us. I just, yeah, I love your story so much. I can't wait to watch more of it. And I'm giving you my number, so we're gonna get together. And yeah, I adore you. I
Thank
really
you.
do, and I just want to see you succeed.
And your story is just amazing. And I think you are a true testimony to women. I really do. I think you stand in your power too. And I just love you. I love you. When John DM me about you wanting the thing, I was like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh, I love that.
What? I mean, that Baywatch was the show back in the day, I always wanted that body where you're running in the red
Oh
swimsuit.
God.
Make sure you watch Pillow Talk. We'll be on Sunday, by the way, for the new episode. Jamal and I will be on, but make sure you watch the one after that, because we do a Baywatch run, and it's
Oh,
so
really?
funny. It's so funny because I was doing your podcast that week. We couldn't link up, and I was doing, and it was that same week, and I was doing the Baywatch watch on the show. So just know it's a
Oh, I'm
tribute.
gonna love this. Okay.
Say it, tribute to you.
Oh, living for it. I'm so living
All
for
right, I love you guys so much, Dave. Nice to meet you too.
Very nice meeting you.
Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
That was cool. That was
Yes.
cool.
I get so excited. Oh yeah.
Good.
I
It's
love
on
that.
in my house all the time. Like, no matter what, I'll walk in, the TV's on, and my wife's either getting dinner ready or cleaning the house, doing something, sitting down, and it is on all the time. She doesn't watch. My wife won't watch Real Housewives, but she will watch this nonstop. It's always on the TV.
It's
Funny
so
as can be.
good. It's
Yeah.
just so good. I mean,
Oh,
yes. And anybody who's a fan of the show knows Kimberly and her story and loves her, and yeah, rooting for her.
good deal. Good deal. Hey, just curious, did you watch Housewives of Beverly Hills, where they went
I
back to
did.
Augusta, Georgia? What did you think? I mean, they put a
Did.
lot of time on Sutton.
They really did, which, I'm torn about. But I mean, Sutton's mom, it's like I felt like I was watching my mother. And I just think, thank God I didn't turn out like Sutton.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
All I could think. And then I
Yeah.
thought Garcelle said something interesting when she said she felt like maybe she was vibing some jealousy about that Sutton was so close with her father. And that's weird because my mom always had a thing too, like when we were close with our dad,
Yeah.
or even close with each other. Like she didn't want anybody close that didn't involve her.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of I felt like Garcelle touched on something there, but I don't know. It was wild. It was wild. What did you think?
I thought it was interesting. I'll be honest with you. I would have expected, like, I'm not a big Sutton fan,
Right.
and it's not a lot about her that I enjoy, and I don't like her personality. I don't like a lot of things about her. To be honest with you, I thought she would be a different person for what she's gone through. You know what I mean? Like, you can go, I guess, a couple different ways. The show ran, and a very close friend of mine saw it before I saw it and said to me, I just want to give you a heads up. I don't know if you should watch this episode. And I said, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to watch the show. And I didn't know what their direction they're going. My story is very similar to Sutton's story. My dad killed himself on New Year's Day, 2018. And so when she said, hey, I don't know if it's going to touch on a nerve with you that, her dad shot himself, your dad shot himself, the whole deal. And so it wasn't like that. It didn't cause a breakdown moment, but a lot of things she said sounded very familiar as far as what was happening. That being said, I think I'm a much nicer person than Sutton is. How's that? And
100%.
and so again, you can go a couple different ways. I feel bad for anyone's tragedy. Obviously, she was crushed, when to go back to her home where everything happened is not easy. I've been back in that house where my dad took his life one time, and that's because my mother still lives there, but I have not gone in the room where he did that, and so it's sad. It's sad all the way through.
I have a question about that, and if this is too deep, tell me to shut up.
You can ask me anything.
Because when I was watching it, it came across my mind. Are there feelings of like, see, like I would stay alive through everything just to be there for my kids. So
Yeah.
is there ever a feeling of like, you weren't enough, that they could just leave you like that they did that? Because a lot of people view suicide as selfish. And I have a lot of reasons of why it's not selfish, but there are some. And being a child of somebody that does it, to me, it screams selfishness. And I just wonder.
It's funny. I never look at suicide as selfish for anybody that does it. It's obviously terrible. I always feel that person's in a lot of pain, because in reality, my opinion, suicide is the only thing you have control over. Meaning, basically you decide to turn the light switch out. You have no control over anything in life. Who you're born to, you're going to be a boy, girl, anything, what kind of life you're going to have, but you can decide when you want to end that life. And so with my father, it wasn't for me the idea of that he took his life. Just a backstory. At 50 years old, he had his first stage of cancer. Okay. He beat it through chemo and everything that, radiation, everything, surgeries and everything he went through. That was prostate cancer. Then he ended up with kidney cancer. Then he ended up with bone cancer, and he started breaking bones. And the last one was brain cancer. And so he took his life because he didn't want to lose his brain. He didn't want to lose his thoughts. He was already starting to change a little bit on who he was. The way he would talk to my mother wasn't like typical. But for me, what was very frustrating was he never said goodbye. That's where my anger was, is that the day before he killed himself, I literally was driving back from Los Angeles to San Diego, and my mother and him were in the car, and I was on speakerphone. He didn't say one word. And then he went home and took his life the next day. But I went back, and first thing was I looked back at my text message, our last conversation, because we weren't talking, not because we didn't like each other. He just wouldn't answer the phone, or if you called him, he'd say, I got to go. And I'm like, where are you going? In my head would always be, you have nowhere to go. But he couldn't talk to his only son. And so I went back even on my birthday, which is in November, which is 6 weeks before he killed himself. He didn't contact me on my birthday. So the fact he couldn't say goodbye or have one last conversation with me was very frustrating. That's what hurt the most for me. And for about 6 months, I was, really upset. And I remember driving through the desert, driving from San Diego to Phoenix. And about halfway through, I just said, I'm not going to let this bother me the rest of my life. And I said, I got to stop this. Well, sure enough, a few months later, my son dies. And so the pain I felt with my dad was nowhere close to the pain I felt with my son. Like, no offense to my father's memory, but I think about my son, it feels like 24/7. I can't get it out of my head. But my dad is, he lived a full life. The one regret I have, Nicole, honestly, is that when I asked my mom what happened, he yelled at my mom right before he killed himself. That bothers me that he did that to my mother. She tucked him into bed. He yelled at her for something. She shut the door. She was about 5 feet past the door, and then she heard the gunshot. And the fact that their last conversation of over 50 years of marriage was him yelling at her. That bothered me. That she
Well,
has
I
that
think
memory.
that might say something about the mindset he was in,
Yeah.
because I mean, I've never been in that kind of mindset, so I can't speak to it. And it seems like it's definitely a dark place. Like there's definitely a place that we don't know, luckily. And I guess you can't really take that personal, and you
Yeah.
can't really like make any judgments or have any opinions on it, because we just don't know and we're not there. And that's so sad. I'm so sorry. I just
No, it's again, watching that yesterday and seeing what she went through. There's pain there. I mean,
yeah.
there's loss. It's sad. I mean, if somebody gets to that point, and I say this all the time, if you're listening to this show right now and we're having this, serious conversation, a lot of times when I've discussed this like on the air, is people start reaching out to me. They might reach out to you too. I will say this on Nicole's behalf and my behalf: we're all here for you, but we aren't professionals. So if you need help, do not be embarrassed to reach out to a professional for help. Depression is a real thing.
It absolutely is. And I want to say that there is help out there. There is help readily available. I mean, I want everybody to realize that if you're having those kinds of thoughts and those kinds of feelings, please reach out. Reach out to anybody. There's hotlines. We're going to post it right now. Please do reach out. And a lot of times we can feel so alone and like there's no hope and there's nobody there. But there is. Listen, I just started therapy again. There are people readily available. So please, yeah, I can't say it enough. Please reach out.
There you go. I would say would go to the 5 questions, but I think it's probably a good time to end the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. And we will see you. We will definitely see you next week. And here's the hotline.